So next up, I'm working on my wood inlays. I've got these chunks of steel, of a wood from Alpha Knife Supply. This is a maple burl. This is stabilized wood, which means it's been impregnated with resin and glue and all kinds of good stuff so that all the pores inside are completely full of resin, which helps the wood, so it doesn't crack and age and go bad on you over time. So stabilized woods are very popular among knife makers and gun makers and all that stuff. So I've got this block and a block of redwood burl, which I've already started slicing up into bite-sized pieces. The theory is that these pieces I can then glue onto my fixture and machine into my inlays. Now getting them into these slices would be easy on a bandsaw. I don't have a bandsaw. I'm completely not a woodworker. I know nothing about working with wood. So I busted this thing out Grimsmo style, and here I have a slitting saw. I've had these for a few years now and I've never really been able to use them. So this is a exciting time to finally, get to use this. It's just a 1/28 thou thick high-speed steel slitting saw. I got a bunch of them off of eBay for super cheap. And what I'm basically doing is going around the perimeter and slicing it until it pops off. So let's check that out. You can see the redwood has a wicked burl, wicked pattern to it. That's going to look so good on an inlay. So I have no idea how this slitting saw really works with the wood. I mean, I've cut a few of them, but before that I really didn't know how deep to go, how fast to spin it, what the feed rate is and all that, so I just guessed. Spinning it at 1,000 RPM, moving it through at 30 inches per minute, taking a 200 thou depth of cut, or axial width of cut, around. And it seems to work just fine. I do have the mister set up here with a light, like 10 psi air blast and a light mist. I don't know if the mist is necessary, but it makes sense to me. I'm a metal worker. And it seems to work fine, so check it out. Alright, so I've been machining these wood inlays. Got one perfect one finished. Tried a few testers before, and first time I used too much glue, so as I tried to use the knife to pick it off, it just shattered into a dozen pieces. So this time I used less glue, just a couple dots here and there, except when it was facing it down, it sort of flew off and this part held. The rest broke off. So it's really brittle stuff. Even though it's stabilized, it's still very brittle and crack worthy. So it's just getting the right amount of glue so that it stays on there and doesn't crack. So I'm going to try to pick this one off and see if it cracks. Especially in this really thin area right here, I'm kind of worried about that. Already cracking a little bit. Well, good so far. Yeah, you gotta use just enough glue to make it work. Not too much. Yikes. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't look good. Nope, broken already. That side too. That side too. Obviously. Crap. It's really thin too, at just over 1/16 of an inch. That's not helping things. Well, I'll figure it out, and if not, then I won't do wood inlays. Although I was pretty proud of myself. I got 10 strips out of that chunk of redwood, and that's a lot of practice. So maybe I'll get it. So I wanted to explain, normally I would use a corner rounding tool to make the top edge of the part really soft and round, but I don't have one in the tiny radius that I want, 1/32 of an inch. So I'm using a ball mill and just going around and around and around and around and around and actually contouring the edge using a 3D pattern. And it works really, really good. You can't even tell the difference. It takes a while longer, obviously, but needs must. It's late. 4:30 in the morning. I leave for Blade Show. Is it Sunday night now? Monday morning? I leave on Thursday evening. I'm hoping to ship my knives in the morning after I sleep, if I sleep. So it's kind of nice to have an early deadline. You know, I fly out on Thursday. If I can ship my knives on Monday, then that would be excellent, because then I get like 2 or 3 days of semi-relaxing time before the show, as opposed to continuing these all-nighters right up until the show. So it's kind of nice to do that, but it's still, you know, pulling an all-nighter kind of thing. These wood inlays are kicking my butt. I hate them. I don't know if they're worth my time, man. They're just so thin and they crack like crazy. I ended up with one good set. That goes like this, but yeah, one good set. That looks great, but I'm trying this other set and the tips break off, and you know, it doesn't help that my inlay design is super thin and super wispy and thin parts and everything. Anyway, it just doesn't work. Surprisingly, carbon fiber is like easy to machine, like wicked easy compared to this, because it just doesn't crack. It's so strong like that. So I got one set of wood inlays, and they're probably going on my knife. So constant source of showing it off because it's in my pocket. So that's good. That's a cool thing. I just don't think I'll be doing a lot of them in the future. I mean, like I said before, I made 10 of these. I've destroyed 6 of them so far to make one good set of inlays, when it should have only taken me 1.5, not 6 pieces. So anyway, yeah, carbon fiber inlays, I'll be doing those in the future. They're relatively easy. The Moonglow inlays, same thing, relatively easy. They're awesome. You know, I could do G10 as well, that's easy. But this wood stuff, just, it doesn't work for this design. So anyway, I gotta move on because I got so much work to do still. I've been working on inlays for the past, on wood inlays, for the past like 5.5 hours. And in the end, I've only got one for my knife. Not a good use of time. So what's left? This is a classic Blade Show crunch time video. Morphing from inlays into whatever's left to do before the show. Eric's gone, so I don't have his help. He's at a wedding in Seattle. So I've got 1 or 2 lefty knives that I need to finish. All they need is lockup and some color. And then I've got, looks like 5 knives. Here. Completely done, sharpen everything, they just need color. So I gotta figure out what colors I want to make them. If any. Except they're all shiny, they're not stonewashed or anything, so I don't really want to just leave them silver. But yeah, luckily I do have like 8 knives completely finished, ready to go for Blade. We got those done last week, so that's cool. So bare minimum I've got those to bring to Blade, but I mean these are so close, they just need color. Oh, and then last thing I gotta do for the inlays is pocket the handles themselves. So I've got them mounted up on my fixture here, mine on top, and so I just gotta pocket all those, and I'll do 5 at once. So in the future when I do inlays, I'll machine the inlay portion as I'm machining everything else, that I'm not going back and redoing it. It's just kind of waste of time. But at the time when I was making the handles, I was like, okay, I'll make inlays later. And this is later. So I'm just refixturing them and gonna cut the inlays now. But I know how to cut titanium, so that's gonna go easy. And the one that I did, after one tweak where that little end mill broke, which would have been solved by flood coolant, so I'll use flood coolant this time. And yeah, that works really good. So I'm kind of rambling, kind of not as clear as I should be, but that's where I'm at. Back to work. At this point, I'm ready to glue in my inlays. So I've got a handle here. I've anodized it first because when I press in the inlay with glue, and if any glue squidges out the sides, that would mess up with future anodizing. So I want to get all the anodizing done first so that it's good to go. If any glue squidges out, no problem. My handles are a little funky because I've got fixturing holes on the bottom and a stop pin hole that goes into the inlay all the way through. So what I've done is I've just used some grease here and greased up a stop pin, put it in the hole, greased up the tips of these screws and put them in so that no glue will go into those holes, so that if I ever want to refixture it onto the mill and you know, change or do another inlay or something, I could do that. So just leaving the option open, and it keeps the stop pin clean. So that's good. So, the glue that I will be using, based on recommendations from other knife makers, Loctite 324, and you need activator 7075. This is called the Speed Bonder adhesive, and you have to have them together because they won't work. I mean, this is an activator. This glue just will not harden by itself. It actually hardens in the absence of oxygen. So actually maybe it would work if there's somehow no oxygen within your parts, But yeah, so the speed bonder, you spray this on one surface and the glue on the other surface and squish them together, and about in 3 to 5 minutes it's not going anywhere. So I'm putting the speed bonder on my inlays, or the activator on my inlays. This knife is getting glow in the dark inlays. This is like a plasticky acrylic kind of material. And I have liberally applied the glue here, although nice. Wow, idiot. Drop wet glue onto a dirty floor. Okay, I think I'm good. So yeah, put the glue on here, and then I'm just going to press it in. You don't want to put too much glue in because it will squirt out the sides, and I've got some air holes in the bottom, but the glue actually doesn't seem to find them and squish their way out. Glue is, even though I'm avoiding the walls, glue is still kind of finding its way up the walls, so it's an even balance between how much glue, how evenly spread out it is, and yada yada yada. So anywho, perfect fit. Cool. It's really tricky coming up with colors. You know, what color goes good with moon glow? What color goes good with carbon fiber? I don't know. And last but not least, I've got a little bit of glue coming out right there at that peak. Not a big deal, but I don't really want it to be there. So I just got some Q-tips and I'm just gonna wipe it away. And that looks like the only spot. So now it's good to go. I don't really feel the need to like press them and clamp them together, but some people do. I mean, both parts are really flat, so whatever. So now I just have to glue this one and we're good to go. Here's two of the ones that I've done already. This one, lightning strike carbon fiber on a bronze handle. I thought the handle should be bronze to match the kind of coppery color of the lightning strike. Yeah, that lightning strike is cool stuff. That turned out excellent. I thought a silver carbon fiber would be very fitting. Beautiful. And then this is my personal knife. I put the wood inlays in a stone washed handle. Haven't anodized it yet, haven't glued these in yet. So I can still pop them out. Still not sure what color to put this one on. To put on this one. But we'll see. It looks okay silver, but this is my knife. I want color, I want pizzazz. Check out the color on this one. I etched this in multi-etch for about 35 minutes. You can see it gets a little streaky, and then I anodized it light bronze or medium bronze, I guess. This is like totally clean, and the second you put a smudge on it, it changes color. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show that. The colors as they come out of the tank when it's so clean are like way more vibrant than in actual use when you get your finger oils and stuff on them. But I think all these little streaks and smudges and stuff will clean up with some rubbing. Sometimes I'll even just take a dab of WD-40 and just a tiniest little bit, and then take a toothbrush and rub it in just to see what the actual color is going to look like. Huge difference. But yeah, this is the real world color. This is the chemically clean color. Well guys, I would like to say goodbye to knife number 1 and hello to knife number 100. Kicking it out of my pocket, kicking it into my pocket. This thing is so cool. Yeah, very, 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 very happy with this one. So yeah, the wood inlays turned out really good. And just stoked with how everything turned out. I polished the edges so they're crazy shiny. Anyway, that's that one. The lightning strike and bronze turned out just perfect. The silver and carbon fiber look super good together. And then the moon glow one, I did a little bit of a lighter blue color. Not too much lighter. Yeah. So I just got to finish putting these together and take them with me to Blade Show. So, it is currently late Wednesday night. I leave mid-afternoon on Thursday tomorrow. And I'm not going to get to edit this video this week and get it up, so I kind of skipped this week. But you are now watching it after Blade Show is finished. And with any luck, I sold everything I brought. Yay! Hopefully. Yeah, so that's how I do inlays and my fancy Blade Show knives. That'll about do it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.